Hey everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Dr. Angel Storm. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I'm answering one of your questions, which is if you're a codependent person and you just got out of a trauma bonding situation with a narcissist, how common is it for you to try to fill that void immediately, and how likely is the next person that you choose going to be a narcissist or another type of predator? So first of all, codependent person is somebody who, there's many different traits of what this will embody, but somebody basically who finds their identity in the opinion of another person. So if the other person thinks of them as successful or stable or worthwhile in any kind of way, that the codependent person receives their identity, their meaning of life, their the way that they interact with other people, all of that, their worth overall from the opinion of somebody else. And a lot of times we will speak about a codependent person in terms of a relationship with another person. So people who are codependent oftentimes are with narcissists. They are married to addicts. There is a situation that requires them to kind of play a role, and codependent people are more comfortable being in this role rather than discovering who they truly are and living out what they want to do with their life, because they don't know who they are. So therefore they don't know what to do without their life, but they do get the feeling of fulfillment by the opinions of the person that they're with. A codependent person can actually also have this relationship with other things. So like their job position, for example. A codependent person finds their identity in what they do, not in who they are. And without that job, if they had to leave that job, if the job got taken away from them, whatever scenario there was, they couldn't do that thing anymore, a codependent person would struggle greatly with finding who they truly are and even finding another position that they loved to do as much, because it's not just finding another job, it's literally finding another identity. So that is basically the summary of what a codependent person is. Again, these traits, like the things that the codependent person will do, are different depending on the situation that they're in. And I talk about this a lot on my channel, that everything is energy. Everything is energy. You cannot expect to be putting out energy that basically says, I need somebody to tell me who I am. I need somebody to give me my worth, or else I don't feel like I'm worth anything. I don't feel like I have purpose outside of being somebody's supply, in this case with a narcissist, or managing somebody's life with an addict. Unless I'm doing those things, I don't have any value. That will be the underlying root, the underlying source of all of your decision-making processes, all of your feelings, all of your words, all of your actions. They're all coming from that place. So it's absolutely impossible to have that be the foundation and get something healthy from it. If you have a water source in your house that you know is not safe to drink from, that the water there, is not healthy for you to drink from, but you keep going to that water source expecting that the water is going to be healthy, but you've done exactly 0 things to make sure that the water is safe for you to drink, but you keep drinking it. The process of how you think about that is the thing that needs to get changed. It isn't, how would you be mad at that water faucet for only giving you unsafe, unhealthy water, when you're the one who knows that it's unhealthy, knows that it's not safe, and you keep going back to it, expecting it to change, while you don't do any actions to make it change. The codependent person typically has a lot of problems, issues, and unresolved things that have happened over the course of their life, usually from the time that they were a child, growing up, and even more than that. It can be generational, so that there's just many forms of trauma through the bloodline. And the codependent person, it's so overwhelming to deal with those issues that it's easier to just be the manager of whatever situation is going on. So if that means trying to do all of the things that won't anger the narcissist, or trying to just mitigate the damage that an addict, a spouse who's an addict, would have on the rest of the family and the finances and whatever, that gives you a job, a role to fulfill that is going to take up all of your time. So there's literally no time for you to sit and think about the why you're doing what you do, or if there is a better way to do what you're doing. There's no time to think about that because you're so in the role of this position, managing the narcissist, managing the addict, whatever it is, or working as a certain function. I mean, there's, again, many different ways that a codependent person can show up. It isn't just people who are with narcissists or with addicts. Again, job functions can take that role for a codependent. But you'll never have time to sort through and process all of those things that have built up. And it's easier to put your energy into a relationship than it is to sit by yourself and really process everything that you've gone through, and to start doing healthy habits, to start building healthy ways of thinking, to actually make different neural networks in your brain, so that you don't just you're not constantly thinking and second guessing yourself. Is this a healthy choice? Am I making the right decision? And things like that. People who are constantly thinking that, not once in a while, but who are literally constantly having those questions when they're making a decision, it's a good sign that, number one, they don't trust themselves, and number two, that the root of why they don't trust themselves is because they lack identity. They don't know who they are without somebody telling them who they are and what to do. So in this case, a codependent person would need to sit still and be quiet and really get together a plan and a process for how to unpack everything that they've gone through and really come to the root of why they do what they do. And unless you're willing to get to the bottom of what is causing you to rather be codependent than to work through and find yourself your true identity, then you're going to continue to do the same things. And so there is no way for you to just immediately get out of a relationship with a narcissist, and now all of a sudden you have healthy decision-making habits about how to choose a partner, about what job function to do. There's no way that you're just automatically, okay, I'm out of that situation, I'm going to do something different now. You haven't actually built the foundation to be able to think about those things differently. And I've talked about this before in some of my other videos. You're one part of the equation. You're one part of the equation of who you attract, right? The thing is that there will always be predators who are out there looking for people that they can take advantage of. This, again, doesn't need to be in a romantic way. This doesn't even just need to be with a narcissist. This is true in business. This is true as a consumer. Any type of area of life, you're going to find people like this. If you don't have strong boundaries for yourself, you are not only alerting the people who are predators, who've been perfecting their craft for many years, if not decades, on how to pick victims, when to attack the victim, when's the best time to get a new victim, all that kind of stuff. They know that very well. And if you do not know how to have boundaries for your life because you have no idea who you are, then you are just an open door for that type of person to literally walk in your life and ruin it completely. And the other thing is, the more times that this happens, the level of what you're willing to tolerate continues to increase. So what you probably would have started out not tolerating with the first narcissist that you were with was now something you were looking for and fully accepting of the next time that you got in a relationship with a narcissist. Codependent people learn and progress to what is acceptable. There is never any kind of defining moment of this is the red line and now these are the consequences for breaking that. Codependent people have very fluid boundaries. They don't have Again, this kind of thing of like, if this happens, then here for sure are the consequences, and I'm keeping those boundaries regardless of what you say, regardless of how many times you try to come back around, no matter what kind of hoovering techniques you use. I'm going to keep these boundaries. Codependent people cannot set those types of boundaries. They do not have that type of, again, it really comes to identity, because they don't see themselves as being worth anything unless that person, that thing, that place, whatever, gives them approval. And to them, also, having the narcissist continue to come back to them is telling them, okay, I am worth something. Look how much this person is coming back. Look how much this person is trying to make it right, or whatever, do something different. The codependent person looks at these unhealthy behaviors as the reinforcement for the bad ways of thinking, the unhealthy and toxic ways of thinking that they have already set up in their brain, that their mind has fully embraced. So instead of just saying, this person is sick and here's the evidence of it, they're saying, oh, look, I'm really worth that amount to this person. I'm really worth that much effort to this person. And so it creates this cycle that's extremely toxic and damaging, not just in that relationship, but again, it escalates the tolerance level of abuse that a codependent is willing to go through. So to wrap up this video, my advice to not just people with codependent issues, codependent tendencies, or even people who grew up in a situation where one parent was a codependent parent and one person was, an addict, a narcissist, whatever. To those people who grew up in that environment, again, this can be generational, but there is a better way to live. There's a healthier way to live. And so I encourage you to really take a look and not try to sweep history underneath the rug. Like, okay, yeah, I did grow up in that environment, but it doesn't affect me anymore. If you haven't done any type of healing for those things, it's still going to affect you. Even in your non-conscious decision-making process, you can non-consciously be wired to choose things so that you think, no, I don't think that way. Because in your conscious mind, you reject that notion, but non-consciously, you've already been wired to accept certain things that are toxic and unhealthy, and you'll never uncover what those are if you're always busy playing the role of the codependent in a relationship. So this will conclude this video, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel below and turn on the little bell so that you're notified whenever I upload a new video to this channel.